Hello, everyone. My name is Angela, and I am an account manager with Land Central. And the last video I posted was about who we are and how our process works and when you purchase from us. And today I'm going to go over how to choose the perfect property for you. So the majority of our properties are completely raw land. What does that mean? So basically, you are starting from scratch. So the property has never been developed, and when you example, for when you purchase a house, everything's done for you. You have your dwelling, you have your utilities, you have a driveway, you have access, you have an address. But when you're purchasing vacant land or undeveloped land, none of these things are set up, and so these are the type of things that you'll want to research when you're looking to purchase that perfect property for you. So as I explained in my last video, we purchase the land as is and then sell it as is. Not everybody's going to want to put a dwelling on their property. Some do, but others want to increase their investment portfolio. They want to buy it to leave to their kids. They want it for retirement. They want it for recreation. There's all sorts of different reasons why people want to buy vacant land. So we want to give you the tools so that you can research the property based on your specific goals for your investment. So the first thing that I want to touch on is zoning. This is a big one. Back in the day, if you owned land, you could pretty much, you'd be like, I own my own land, I could do what I want. That's not so much the case these days. When researching your property, you're going to want to know what you can and can't do on that property. So when we prepare the property for our website, we do some basic research. And one of the things that we find out is what is the zoning classification for that property. And the zoning classification is what the county or city designates that the use for that land. So what can that land be used for? Examples of a zoning would be single family residential, multifamily residential, agricultural, commercial. So this is important to know because if you want to put a log cabin or a container home on your property, you're going to need to know if it's allowed. A lot of times a zoning classification will say single family dwelling allowed, but they don't define what that dwelling is. So you might have to call the county and say, hey, do you allow mobile homes? Do you allow modular homes? What's the minimum square footage? That type of thing. Or let's say you want to grow some fruit or some sort of vegetation on your property. Do they limit the types of plants that you could put on there? Or how much of acreage do you need? Or if you want animals, can you raise chickens? Can you raise goats? Is there restrictions on that? And a big question we get a lot is, can I park my RV on my property? Can I live in my RV on my property? And a lot of counties or cities or homeowners associations have restrictions on recreational vehicles, so that's something you definitely want to research. Which kind of segues me into, is the property buildable? So that's another question that we get. So we don't guarantee buildability, so we want to make sure that you research to see if that property can be built on. The plan, I always direct people to the county planning and zoning department. And then if they can't answer your questions, then they'll direct you as to the correct department to go to. So for example, I would Google Washington County, Oregon Planning and Zoning Department, and then you can call them. You're going to need the assessor parcel number or the APN. This is how the county finds what property you're asking for. So this is how they number the property. Not all properties, vacant land, have physical addresses. So the parcel number is very important. Another good thing to research are utilities. So when you're buying, raw land, undeveloped land, you'll want to look into the type of utilities that you're going to need to require if you want to build. So does a property you are looking at have electricity nearby? What about water? Is it public hookup or is it well? Can you haul water or have cisterns? Sometimes counties, they restrict on your ability to haul water or to collect rainwater. So that's something you'll want to ask the county. Or sewer and septic, you know, is it going to be linked up to a public sewer system, or are you going to have to get a septic system? So normally sewer and septic, you're going to contact the county or city. Electricity and water are different, and they might require a little bit more research. Sometimes the water and electricity are through the county or city, but sometimes they're through private companies that supply those utilities in the area. So just keep that in mind. And then if it's a well, a lot of times the county or city will direct you to the State Division of Water. So it just depends. The next thing that you'll want to look at when you're trying to find your perfect property is access. Does the property have access? And what does access mean? So it means, is there a road to the property, or can you physically or legally access your property? So there's physical access, there's legal access, and there's both. So physical access means that there's a road that goes to your property. Just because you have physical access does not necessarily mean you have legal access. So maybe that road that goes to your property is a private road, or maybe it's just a road that's been created over time by people, but the county doesn't recognize it as a legal road. Now, you could have legal access, but you may not have. So legal access means that the county has, how do I say this? So if you have legal access, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a road that actually goes to the property. Sometimes the county will plan for a road, but the right-of-way or the actual road has not been created yet. So a good resource to find this out is the plat map. So if you have a property and the whole parcels are platted out and all the roads, you know, and you're like, oh, I have legal access, but then it's never been created, you know, then you might have to contact the county to see, do I need to create that road? Do they have plans to create that road in the future? The most ideal is to have physical and legal access so that you can access it. If there's not a road to it or you don't have legal access, sometimes you'll have to get an easement. And an easement is where you get permission from your neighbors to cross their land to get into yours. So that's another good thing you'll want to research when you're looking for your perfect property. Another thing, I kind of touched on this earlier, but another thing to keep in mind is the majority of vacant land, they don't have physical addresses assigned to them. So if the property's in a neighborhood or it's been platted or something like that, then sometimes they'll have a physical address, but I'm going to say about 80% of our properties don't. So when calling the county for research, like I said earlier, you want to make sure you have the APN or assessor parcel number, and this is how the county will identify that property. We use latitude and longitude for all our properties in order to locate them. And so if you go to Land Central and you're clicking on that perfect property you're researching, you will find, you can scroll down. Now, if you're on your mobile device, you scroll all the way down. And then if you're on your computer, I think it's land specifics. There's a part that says other available maps. So we have 3 items here that would help you. We have the plat map overlay. And what that is that's taking the plat map, putting it on Google Earth, and then finding the corners of the property using latitude and longitude. We have the driving directions. So we have properties all over the US. So we don't really have the ability to show them all. But we do try to give you all the resources. So if you want to go look at the property prior to purchasing, you can. The driving directions, the one thing I would caution about the driving directions is don't use the address on the driving directions. Google Maps will automatically pull in the closest address. So we'll have customers call us and say, is this the address to the property? No, what we're doing is we're using latitude and longitude to find how to get to that property, and then Google Maps pulls in the closest address. So don't rely on that. And then the last one is the satellite image. This is probably one of my favorite resources because you can click on that. That's Google Maps, and you can look at it in a map view, or you can look at it at a Google Earth view. the Google Earth view is like an aerial view of the property. And this is really helpful because you can, it's a great tool. You can see what is around the property. So if you're like, I want to put a mobile home on my property, but then you're looking around that houses and none of them are mobile homes. That might be an indication that they don't allow mobile homes in that area. The other thing too is sometimes you can get a street view of the property. So there's a little person you can drag and click it onto the street and kind of look around. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but that kind of gives you an idea. Now keep in mind when you do the street view, you'll want to look at the date that Google Earth has recorded it, because sometimes it's 6 months from now, sometimes it was 5 years ago. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Okay, so this is just kind of a brief touch on what you can research to find the perfect property. We have a great blog on our website that has some very informational articles. It's headed under, I think, Land University blog. So I'm going to attach some links underneath this video that are going to go over some of the stuff we talked about and even more to kind of help educate you on what types of things you can research. So our goal here at Land Central is to help you become an informed and happy landowner. So we love our customers and we want you to be happy with your investment. So we want to help educate those who maybe know the stuff or maybe they don't. So that is our goal. So it was a pleasure making this video.